never allowed to let the water run. And so my mum, who's here today, I have a lot to thank for where I am. Then also they raised me in some incredible countries as well, where I lived quite far from people of my own culture. So I, at a young age, got a really good understanding of different cultures and different habitats and environments. When I was a teenager, I was living in Somalia, so I was living 8 hours from the capital city, 8 hours from civilization, basically in the bush. And when we wanted vegetables, we had to grow them. When we wanted meat, we had to buy a cow, and we had to think about where everything was coming from. And we felt privileged to have electricity, privileged to have running water. So those ethics instilled in me at a young age really made me want to dedicate my life to conservation. I would go over to the Western world to visit the rest of my family, and I would see the contrast between these wild places and these very developed places. And so I knew that I wanted to basically use my life to make sure that those last wild frontiers would remain for future generations to enjoy, as I had the privilege to do so. So I got a degree in wildlife biology in England, and I went around looking for something meaningful to do, and I worked in Malaysia and I worked in Thailand on some fabulous projects. But my heart was still in Africa. As many people who have been to Africa, you know it stays in your soul, and I knew I had to return there. So I looked for something, and I found an opportunity in Botswana in a small nature reserve called Mokolodi, where I was lucky enough to return to Africa, to this incredible country of Botswana, which, like northern Mozambique, is like one of the world's last frontiers. We have only a small population in Botswana, and we have a lot of wild areas. We've got the incredible Central Kalahari Game Reserve, the Okavango Delta, the Makharihari Pans, and a lot of these areas have not been developed, and we only have a few roads and a few settlements, so it really is a wonderful place for conservation to be happening. And of course it has a lot of its own issues, but there is potential there for it to be a Noah's Ark for Africa into the future as it is today. We have a country that's about the size of Texas or France. We have one of the smallest population densities in the world, particularly in this southwestern area in the Kalahari where most of the cheetahs are found today. Our project is based just south of Gaborone. We have our admin and education base. And then in the Western Kalahari, we have our sort of new base where we do a lot of research, community outreach, and education. And this incredible wilderness area of the Kalahari is really something to see. In the whole country, we have one of the highest populations of lions, wild dogs, cheetahs, elephants,